Okay, so welcome to the chapter that is reproduction in animals, and this is one of the chapter of class 8 of biology. Okay, now if you talk about this chapter that is reproduction in animals, so obviously reproduction takes place in all living organisms because this reproduction is a very important, you can say, system for all the organism. It is a very important system. And if we talk about this system, then this system is generally to produce or to increase the population. Okay, to increase the population. So this takes place in all kind of organism, whether it is a bacteria, whether it is you can say a protist like amoeba, whether it is fungus, whether it is plant, whether it is animal. Means this reproduction occurs in all kind of living organism. Okay, so let us proceed with the chapter. Now everything is visible and clear properly now. Okay, so if we talk about this reproduction, in this chapter will be specific for the animals, okay, and especially in humans. Now reproduction, so this reproduction is what? It is the process. It is the process by which an organism produces the organism of its own kind. Okay, and why it is done? It is required to maintain the continuity on the earth. It is required to maintain the continuity on the earth. Okay, to maintain the continuity on the earth. Okay, and it is also required for species survival. Because the group of organism, if the humans want to survive on this earth, okay, if they want to survive on this earth, so they must reproduce. If a dog wants to survive, the dog must reproduce. If the cat wants to survive, the cat must reproduce. If the rose plant wants to survive on this earth, so the rose plant must reproduce. Means to increase the population on the earth and to maintain the continuity on this earth, means this reproduction is required. Now, one thing you must be clear that for an individual, for a single organism, for the survival of the single organism, it is not essential. For example, if a goat is there, and if that particular goat does not reproduce in her whole life, so it is not going to affect the life of that particular goat. But the population of the goat will be affected. Getting my point or not? The population of the goat will be affected. Okay, but reproduction, if that goat is not going to reproduce, then that goat is not going to die. Means if she is not reproducing, that means it is going to die. No. But it is going to affect the species. Species means, when we talk about species, means the group of individuals of the same kind. Okay, for example, there is a bacteria. Now, to live means the condition for living for that particular bacteria may not be the reproduction. For example, there is an amoeba. So if amoeba wants to survive, so it must perform the digestive system. It must means digestive system, we cannot call in the case of amoeba, means it must perform the process of digestion. It must means take in gas and take out gas, means the respiration can be taken place. Okay, excretion could take place. Then this amoeba will survive. Okay, but if this amoeba is not going to reproduce, obviously its number will be affected. It is not going to produce into two. इसका नंबर अफेक्टेड होगा, लेकिन इस अमीबा की लाइफ पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा अगर ये रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं करता। पॉइंट समझ में आया? तो इंडिविजुअल के सर्वाइवल के लिए ये जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन स्पीशीज सर्वाइवल के लिए ये जरूरी है, रिप्रोडक्शन जरूरी है। ये पॉइंट समझ में आया? यानी उस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म के ग्रुप के सर्वाइवल के लिए ये जरूरी है, रिप्रोडक्शन बहुत जरूरी है। लेकिन उस एक इंडिविजुअल के लिए, एक अमीबा के लिए, एक इंसान के लिए, एक डॉग के लिए, एक कैट के लिए रिप्रोडक्शन करना जरूरी नहीं, उसको जिंदा रखने के लिए रिप्रोडक्शन करना जरूरी नहीं है। ठीक है, तो यहां से ये पॉइंट हमें समझ में आया, दैट इज द रिप्रोडक्शन, और ये होता क्यों है। नाउ मोड्स ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन की बात करते हैं। मोड्स ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, ओके। अब देखो मोड्स की बात करें तो दो, देयर आर टू मोड्स ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, वन इज asexual मोड and one is sexual mode of reproduction. Okay, A means what? A means without. Okay, so in the asexual means mode, no sex cells or gametes are involved. No sex cells or gametes are involved. Okay, there's no requirement of the sex cells to carry out the asexual reproduction, and it requires only single parent. It requires only single parent. Okay, now if we talk about the sexual reproduction, means sex cells are required. Sex cells or gametes are required. The male produces what? Sperm. And the female that produces what? Ovum. Okay, so these sex cells are required to carry out the sexual reproduction. Okay, now here two parents are involved. Two parents are required, that is male and female. Now if we talk about the sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, so asexual reproduction takes place in lower animals. Okay, lower plants. Like asexual reproduction, if you talk about, it takes place in amoeba, it takes place in plasmodium, it takes place in metridium, it takes place in fungi. Okay, means there are a lot of examples for the asexual reproduction. But sexual reproduction takes place in higher plants, in you can call it in higher animals, the more complex animals. Okay, so generally the sexual reproduction is preferred over asexual reproduction. It is preferred, this sexual reproduction, because sexual reproduction creates variation. It creates variation. And variation is required for the species survival. Okay, this variation is required for the species survival. Because if the variation will not be there, okay, So if the variation will not be there, then species survival, the survival of that particular group, the group of that particular organism, will be very difficult. As you can see, means in humans, see, so much variation is there. We all are humans. You and me, all are humans. But see the variation. We all have faces. See different kind of faces. We all have hairs. See different kinds of hairs. We all have behavior. See different kinds of behavior. We all have tolerance. Now, in the same winter, some humans may be tolerant to these kind of extreme winter, and some humans may not be tolerant to this extreme type of, you can call it the winter. Okay, so variation is required, and this variation, okay, diversity, that is created by sexual reproduction, but that is not created by asexual reproduction. So that's why the nature prefers sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction. Got my point? Yes, got my point? Okay, now if you talk about organisms, the organisms may be unisexual or they may be bisexual. Okay? Bisexuals are also called hermaphrodites. They call as the hermaphrodite. Unisexual means male and female are separate. Okay, means one individual will carry the male reproductive system and one individual will carry the female reproductive system. So we can call it means male reproductive system and female reproductive system will be possessed by the individuals separately. By the individuals separately. Okay, that is what the unisexual means. Like humans. Now, one individual will possess male reproductive system, one individual will possess female reproductive system. So we are what? Unisexual. Okay. Bisexual means both the reproductive systems will be carried in one organism. Means reproductive systems, both reproductive systems will be possessed by one organism. That is called bisexual. Okay, or you can call it hermaphrodite. For example, Peretima posthuma. Peretima posthuma. Okay, like the general name is earthworm. Okay, so this earthworm means this carries what? This carries both male and female reproductive system in one individual. Means every earthworm will be having male reproductive system and also the female reproductive system. So these kind of organisms are known as what? The bisexual or hermaphrodite. Any doubt till now? Okay, आगे बढ़े. ओके, अब देखिए बहुत सारे मीन्स, क्योंकि अब हम वन बाय वन मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम, क्योंकि ह्यूमंस के पढ़ेंगे, फिर फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम पढ़ेंगे, फिर कुछ इवेंट्स है लाइक फर्टिलाइजेशन, डेवलपमेंट, इन सारी चीजों को हम स्टडी करेंगे, ठीक है। तो एक इवेंट जो सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में मीन्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इंपॉर्टेंट तो सारे इवेंट्स है, मीन्स जो शुरुआत होती है वो होती है फर्टिलाइजेशन से, ठीक है। क्योंकि हम ये जानते हैं कि जो मेल है it will secrete what? Sperm. Okay, and the female, sorry, this is male sign like this. Okay, and the female will possess what? Will secrete what? The gamete, which is ovum, egg. Okay, now fertilization is the event means in which these two, because the sperm and the ovum needs to fuse with each other. This is very much required for the sexual reproduction. Okay, so this fertilization is what? The fusion of male gamete with female gamete. The fusion of male gamete with female gamete is called fertilization. That is called what? Fertilization. Okay, that will be known as what? The fertilization. Okay, means this sperm and this ovum will fuse together and they will form a single cell structure which will be known as zygote. That will be studied later. Okay, now if we talk about this fertilization, two types of fertilization occur in different organisms. One is known as external fertilization. External fertilization. And one is known as the internal fertilization. External fertilization means the fertilization of this male and female gamete takes place outside the female body. Outside the female body. Okay. And the internal fertilization means the fertilization takes place inside the female body. Inside the female body. Got the point? अब देखिए उन ऑर्गेनिज्म में मींस किस में एक्सटर्नल होगा किस में इंटरनल होगा, बहुत ध्यान से, बहुत इजी है। देखो वो ऑर्गेनिज्म जो जनरली पानी में रहते हैं, क्योंकि वो ऑर्गेनिज्म जो पानी में नहीं रहते हैं, जमीन पे रहते हैं, ठीक है, मींस पानी के अलावा कहीं रहते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली उनके पास कोई मीडियम ही नहीं है उनके बॉडी के बाहर जहां पे स्पर्म और ओवम फ्यूज कर सके। तो एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन वहां पे होगा जो ऑर्गेनिज्म पानी में रहते हैं, लाइक फिश, एम्फीबियंस। जनरल मैं बात कर रहा हूं, ये नहीं कि जहां जहां पानी जो जो पानी में रहेंगे तो उनमें जो है एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन होगा। गेटिंग माई पॉइंट और नॉट? ठीक है, और इंटरनल फर्टिलाइजेशन कहां पे होगा? इंटरनल फर्टिलाइजेशन विल बी टेकिंग प्लेस in means the organism inside the female body, it will take place. So in the organism which do not live in world, like reptiles, birds, mammals. In mammals, like we know that many herbivores are there, many human like humans, we like us. So internal fertilization takes place in the that is reptiles, birds and mammals, means those animals which do not live in water. Okay, any doubt till now? आगे बढ़े? ठीक है, चलिए अब आते हैं हम टॉपिक पे, दैट इज ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम। ओके। अब देखो, ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम की अगर हम बात करें तो ह्यूमंस, जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि यूनिसेक्सुअल होते हैं, मींस दे विल बी अ मेल पेरेंट, दे विल बी अ फीमेल पेरेंट। ओके, कॉम्प्लेक्स मैमल है ऑब्वियसली, तो सिस्टम इतना सिंपल नहीं होगा, ठीक है। तो मेल विल प्रोड्यूस व्हाट, स्पर्म, and female will produce what, the ovum. Now this human having the male and female separate, sexes are separate, okay. So when they attain, obviously the growth and development is going on, but the age, and this is the next chapter that we are going to study, that is reaching the age of adolescence, okay. So when these humans reach the age of adolescence, means after childhood, that starts from, you can say, 12 years, and that goes up to 19 years. So during the age of that adolescence, the age comes when the sexual organs, when the reproductive system or the sexual organs becomes functional. Means the male reproductive system will be able to produce sperms, and it will be able to, means you can say, means the male will be capable of reproducing. Female will also be producing ovum, and the female will also be capable of reproducing. So when the sexual organs become functional, that age is known as what, puberty. That age is known as what, puberty. Okay. Now, if you talk about this reproductive system, so first we will talk about the male reproductive system, and then we will talk about the female reproductive system. Okay, but before that, we must understand some differences. Like sex organs. Okay. Now we have the primary sex organs, and the secondary sex organs or accessory sex organs. Okay. Primary sex organs which are present since birth. They are present since birth. And like it is talking about gonads. In male, it is talking about testes in male. And female, it is talking about ovary in the female. So these are the primary sex organs. And secondary sex organs or accessory sex organs are those sex organs, means basically which are involved, because see, the sperm will be produced in the males. Now this sperm needs to be transferred into the body of the female. So obviously all those organs which will be involved in transferring the male gamete into the female body, and also in their development, because in female what is going to happen, the baby is going to develop. Okay, so obviously the female is going to receive the sperm, then fertilization will occur inside the body, then means the baby is going to produce, then baby birth will be there. So all those organs which will be involved in assisting, means in carrying out, means these kind of processes, like means transfer of sperm and the fertilization and all, so those will be considered as a secondary sex organs or accessory sexual structures, you can call it. Okay, got the point? Okay. So first we will study about the male reproductive system. Okay. So the first part of the male reproductive system is what the testis, this part. Okay, this one. Okay. So the first part is what the testis. Okay. Now this is a pair spherical structure. It is pair and it is a spherical structure. And in this testis means it secretes male sex hormones. Is red ink is visible to you? Okay. So male sex hormone, that is androgen, or you can call it androgen is the group androgens. In the androgens, we have testosterone. And in this testis, what happens means the formation of a sperm takes place. And these are considered to be the gonads, gonad of the male. Formation of sperm takes place. Okay. Second, that is the scrotum or scrotal sac. Okay. Now this is what the scrotum is, a pouch-like structure. Okay. So what is this? It is a pouch-like structure which holds the testis, which holds the testis in it. Okay. Next one. Now see, there is epididymis. Epididymis. This is epididymis. Above the testis, it is there. Highly coiled structure. It is a coiled tube-like structure which is present. So it is highly coiled structure. And what it does? Highly coiled, structure. And what it does? It temporarily stores the sperm. The sperms which are produced in the testis, that is being stored in this epididymis. So it temporarily stores sperm. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the fourth one. This one. Now this structure, this tube-like structure which is running out like here. It is passing through like this. This is known as vasa deferentia. See, vasa deferentia is the plural. Vas deferens is the singular because there are two testes now. Like two testes is there. Okay. I've written pair. Pair is there. So one vas deferens will run from one testis and other from another. So that means that's why it is called vasa deferentia. Means two structures will two tubes will be running. Okay. And the singular will be known as what? The vas deferens. Vas deferens. Okay. Now, this is the tube-like structure. Tube which joins the urethra. Now this is the urethra. This is coming out here. Okay. So it joins the urethra. Okay. Now this vasa differentia is also known as sperm duct. because it will carry the sperm from this epididymis to the urethra. Because when it will enter the urethra, now from urethra it will come out. Okay, so the tube-like structure which joins the urethra, and it is also known as sperm duct. Why? Because it carries the sperm. It carries the sperm. Okay, this one, that is the urethra. And this urethra, no, we have not come to urethra right now. Now coming to the next, and that is urethra. Now this urethra is longer in males than females. What is the reason? क्योंकि ये जो urethra है ना, this urethra which is coming down, this urethra is a part of excretory system also, because in male it carries both urine and semen. Okay, but in female it carries only urine. It passes out only urine. Okay, so urethra in male, it is part of both excretory system and also the reproductive system. So they are longer in males, and it carries both what? Urine plus semen. Okay, this semen contains what? The sperm, because semen is equal to what? Sperm plus secretions. Because the male has the glands, like for example, seminal vesicle, prostate gland. So they secrete certain secretions, and when they get mixed with the sperm, they make up what? The semen. Okay. So this urethra is responsible for the passing out of urine and the semen. Now coming to the next, and that is penis. This is structure. Okay, so this is a copulatory organ. Okay, copulatory organ means it helps in copulation. Okay, copulation means the sexual behavior for okay. So it is the copulatory organ which is present in male, and this one is muscular structure, and it contains spongy tissues. Okay, it contains what? The spongy tissues. Now these spongy tissues which are present in the penis, they get filled with blood during excitement, and which causes what? The erection. Okay, so these are some parts of the male reproductive system. Now, any confusion, any doubt? Okay, now one point more, that is about penis, that is it helps in the transfer of sperm into the female's body. Okay, so if you want to write down, so you can write down, just then we can proceed further. Okay, now coming to the next, and that is female reproductive system. Okay, It's not getting zoom. Wait a second. I don't know what has happened. Okay, so I don't know why it's not zooming. Okay, so female reproductive system, if you talk about, so number one, as we were having, as we see that the testis, that is the gonad in the male, that is going to produce the sperm, that is going to produce the male sex hormone. So the similar way, the gonad which is present in the female, that is the ovaries. So these are also what paired structure. Okay, so there are also what that is paired structure, and it is like you can call it shelled almond, means you can call it the almond shape. See, this is present. Okay, the ovaries. These are the ovaries. These are the ovaries which are present. So they are the paired structure which are present. Okay. Yes, here. Here is the ovary. This one. Okay. Now it is going to produce what? It is going to produce female sex hormones. Female sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone. Okay, so it is going to secrete what? The female sex hormone. Now next one, if you talk about next structure, this is the oviduct. This one, it is not getting zoom, I don't know. It is like this. Okay, so which is also known as fallopian tube, or it is known as what? The oviduct. The next structure. Now this duct or tube-like structure, it is a tube-like structure, and it is actually the site of fertilization, means the sperm and the ovum, they fuses here only. This is the site of fertilization. Some part of the development of the embryo takes place in this fallopian tube only. Okay, so this fallopian tube is the site of fertilization. Okay, now next structure is this one, that is the uterus. Okay, third one is the uterus. or it is also known as womb. Now, this is the uterus which is going to bear the baby. The baby which is going to be formed, it is going to be here in the womb only, which is the part of what? The uterus. So you can call it uterus or womb. And this is, you can say, very important part of female reproductive system, because during the development it is going to bear the baby. Okay, and it is pear shaped structure. It is pear shaped structure. Now if we talk about this, means this is the uterus as we talked about. Now this is the opening which is present in the neck of the uterus. It is called cervix. This is called what? The cervix. So cervix is, what is cervix? That is the opening of the uterus which will lead to vagina. Okay, now this will be the vagina, that is a muscular tube like a structure. Okay, so coming to the fourth part, that is the vagina. It is also known as birth canal. Okay, so it is about 7 to 10 centimeter long, and it receives sperm during copulation. It receives the sperm over here, the semen over here, okay, during the copulation, and it helps also, and means it is also known as birth canal, means it is the part which will be responsible, which will be involved during the childbirth, as you can see. So the childbirth will take place from vagina. Childbirth is also known as parturition. Okay, that is also known as parturition. So this was about male and female reproductive system. Any doubt in this? Then you can ask. Okay. Okay, so now let us proceed tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will be covering that how the fertilization takes place, then how development of embryo takes place. Like this, this is not a very means, because in 8th class it's not going to be very wide topic, very elaborative. But we have to study, and we will study about different kinds of asexual reproduction also. Okay. तो फ्राइडे में क्लास कितने बजे होगी? कोई भी टाइम चलेगा. 4 बजे. ठीक है, इंडिया के 4 बजे. Okay then, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.